Good morning. Cool. So, number one, extra positive, extra awesome today. Um, yeah, we're alive. We're stuck at home, but at least we are alive and well, right? So that's a positive thing, right? Coronavirus quarantine. I don't know how many days. I think it's coming up on a month. I think tomorrow would be a solid 30 days for me specifically. I'm in Nevada. Um, so obviously one of the things I got upgraded. I got a microphone, right? $30 on Amazon. So that was pretty cool. I want to see how that uh, hopefully improves on my audio. My audio's been terrible. It's just like yeah, it's just not good. Like echoey and obviously because of my room, but I know it can be improved by my audio, like my mic, because if you guys listen to my podcast on my website, we'll go here, my website, hit podcast here. Oh wow! So you hit podcast up here, and then for my website at home, and then you see like blogs here. These blogs, exception of like one or two, I think that I've made with like either one was on my phone and the other one was using the audio that was from this like station, from my studio, quote unquote, just my study station, my office. So I should leave it there. I kind of like it. So I know I can improve because the audio from my phone using this little mic up here, this little guy right there, it's much better than pulling it from my webcam, pulling it from my headset that I bought for like PlayStation, and then pulling it from what I said I pull it from. Oh, just like regular standalone. I also have like this. I got this. Actually, it's funny. I got this a while ago from college. I got it because I needed to do a PowerPoint, and I needed to record my voice for the project. So I bought that mic, and then now I have that set up. So I bought that, and that was a long time ago. I used that, and it still doesn't work either. So that's interesting. So yeah, my subject today was actually no IT certifications. No IT certification is too difficult. That makes sense, right? Yeah, you can. Yeah, all right, whatever. So actually, haven't. Like this morning was kind of rough for me, right? It's like I woke up late. I tried to turn off my 6:50 alarm, and somehow subconsciously I may have turned off. I did turn off the 7 o'clock alarm. I'm one of those people who have like multiple alarms, and I accidentally turned it off, and then I woke up, and I'm like, damn, there's no way it's been 10, like it's more than 10 minutes. Like I woke up at like 6:45, turned off the 6:50 alarm. I was like, I'm gonna get up at 7. Like forget that. I'm gonna just get up at 7. So I got up, and then it was like 7:20. So and I could have still kind of made it on time if I got up and rushed to do everything I wanted to do this morning. But honestly, I kind of was like, I'm gonna just stay in bed a little bit. I just browsed on social media, answered some emails. Then I got up and I started eating, started on my day, got some coffee, of course, all that. And I did my 30 minutes of reading. I didn't do 35. I should stop my alarm. I did. I'm sorry. I didn't do an hour. I did 35 minutes, 30-ish minutes of reading today, this morning, at least so far. And honestly, I think it's because yesterday I believe I may have overdid it. In the morning, my routine yesterday was pretty intense. It's the first time I did that. Was actually I bought an audiobook that I'll be reviewing later on. I do have an audiobook on management that I'll probably actually discuss tomorrow. Pretty interesting. But it's about the first book I got when I got my job as a senior at a senior position that I'm in now. And I was like, I never managed people before. How am I going to do it? I'm going to be terrible. So let me get this book. It's Audible. That's like something I could reference, and it just like get a good start. right? So anyways, I bought a book to deal with like politics, office politics, and then how to best like for an employee to deal with like companies and stuff like that. I just thought was very interesting. So I bought that because I was like, oh, how can I develop better as a manager, as a like a leader, or things of that nature within an organization? Because I'm building a lot of technical skills, and I think a lot of individuals in the IT field are going very technical, technical. Hey, if I learn the best skills or the hardest skills, I can be more valuable, and if I become more valuable, then I obviously get more money and become a more asset in line for promotions, all that stuff, right? But in reality, you don't. You, as an individual who has the most skill in the organization, they will not promote you just because of that. At the end of the day, if they needed to solve something, they'll go to a third party to solve it right away instead of having you around demanding for things that they can't afford, or just like a poison in the organization. Like if the pro and con is like, oh, you're the only one that can work on this technology. But the negative is that, well, you're toxic for everyone else in the organization, they'll let you go. But anyways, that's a whole other conversation. What I'm talking about is IT certifications are too difficult, are not too difficult. I'm not in the way I look. Before I was intimidated by the associate level Cisco, the CCNA. Now, I think that was my downfall, and the most difficult part for me was actually my approach and glorifying the certification. Or just like everything else, you glorify if you are interested in something and you see it as a milestone or something you're gonna achieve. You always glorify it beyond what it actually is. People who have done it and accomplished it and are on the other side of the fence, and you see them and you're like, wait a minute, like, how did they do it? Right? This person, you may have their judgments on them or whatever, and you're like, well, I thought that if you get the certification, you're this like genius. It's like, no, it's not the case. Like, this person just did consistent studying and put in the effort and woke up every day and went to sleep early and did the whole things to help your brain absorb new knowledge and all the things that needs to be done, repetitives, everything, and they accomplished something. So you glorifying the subject only hinders your ability to accomplish it. So the way I approach my goal is the CCIE, and I do feel like if you get the CCIE, you're like this awesome guy and the whole nine. But I also think it's achievable, right? I don't believe it'll take somebody 10 years of consistent studying of the CCIE and finally become it. Look, the fact of the matter is, there are scientists out there that are investigating planets and develop like rocket ships, right? And all these things, right? And talk about philosophy and gravity and time and all these things, okay? And then there's technology. Like, there's all this stuff up there. Then, no, not even there's technology. There's like doctors. It's like doctors who are studying the body and how it reacts and how they fight. You know, this coronavirus has shut down our ability to go outside, pretty much. Ended our communication to life, right? Pretty much it's over. Just stay home until we figure things out. You know, those people are dealing with a significant higher level of subject matter, like in my opinion. Like studying the human body is ever changing, is similar to technology. However, our technology is living and breathing, and it does it on its own. We are the difficult part. I mean, the difference between technology and human body is that we are the humans who are developing it. It will never be more than what we are writing or we are coding and putting together. The body is ever changing. You don't know how it's going to react. When you do something, you have an idea because we're the ones who engineered it, right? As an engineer who's studying the subject matter, who didn't actually develop it, they they have a smaller understanding, but the developers actually have an understanding. Like Cisco developed a protocol. They know exactly how it would react during certain situations. The body's not like that. We throw some random virus that we never seen before, and we have to just like step back and look. I'm like, is this person okay? Right? So there's things like that occur. Those are things that, in the way I look at it, are like, wow, like that's crazy. So that's how I compare it. If Elon Musk is trying to get a rocket to a spaceship to travel like super far away, come back, and land on a plate in the ocean with no body in there, just like come back and land. Like, you know what I mean? There's stuff like that happening around the world, and then I think it's ridiculous for anyone to feel like a certain certification that requires just some time of your just continuous amount of dedication and effort to accomplish. Like at such a high level, it's like, oh, if you get this, you're like, calm down. Like, just study the subject matter. The most difficult part for me is actually finding material to study for that that's guided towards the certification. So I've discussed, like, ability to learn is beyond means. It's like it's I guess that wasn't the right phrase, but it's like it's ridiculous. It's you can learn at such a cheap investment, such a cheap investment to learn something, and with the exchange of time. So now in a fingertip, you can buy an Audible and read about something and learn it, right? Now the difficult part with certification tracks is that they give you a list of topics they'll be testing you on. Now, certification guide is supposed to guide you towards the test. Now, you're supposed to find supplementary material to help you get further, deeper knowledge of the subject matter. That's the difficult part, finding the deeper knowledge in the right book. Because you might get a book that may not be geared towards what you're actually trying to study and learn for certification. So you kind of have to wait until somebody develops it, and then once they develop it, you have to hope that that's enough. Right, so that's why, like, certain people like CPT Nuggets, they charge so much money because they're saying, like, this will get you certified. So now if you don't have the like $60 a month to pay for CPT Nuggets, and you have to kind of like patch something together that's worth like $100 and take the test and hope that it's enough. And usually use reviews and kind of all things of that nature. So for the CCIE, it's difficult because you have to learn. There's no like one book because it's such a big test. It's actually numerous amounts of books that build you up towards something. So I think I forgot what his name was. It's KB Train. I think let's search that up. K Train. KB Train. Because it was this guy. He's actually, I actually really like him. He's like a dual CCIE. Let's see, CCNA training. Well, I spelled that wrong. And he said that pretty much you can't. So the network checks right here. Boom, self-study. You can't. Some people like spend years and years and years studying for the CCIE. And the reason why he was pretty much well, next time I guess I shout him out later. He was saying that, look, there's people who study the CCIE for a super long time, and they never get it. They take it, and they never get it. And you could spend your time in other technologies that require less dedication and time and money and benefit you more. So what does that mean? So you could study the CCIE for 10 years and finally get it. You could have studied AWS automation, Python, Ensemble. You could have studied security, like you can get the OSCP. I think in a year, you could you can get multiple CCNPs, right? Without directly going to the CCIE. Now, I disagree with that just because. Oh no, I guess I'm gonna take that back. I agree with the fact that you could study other certifications that will benefit you more to the CCIE, but in my opinion, if you're taking that long, it's probably because it's not because the test is so difficult. It's probably because you're preparing incorrectly. Just because I think we tend to skip over some type of there's this like now the nowadays or whatever new trend or new era of not taking a like roadmap. There's no direct path. Like the old school way is like you start here and you move up, right? You start at the bottom. People are listening to Audible. Start at the bottom and then like you move up to the top, and then there's like this path. You take this, you take this, you take this, and it's being removed now because now certifications like the CompTIA was always allowing you to take multiple, right? The CCNA always had the static old school way where CCNA at the bottom and then CCNP in the middle and then CCIE at the top, and you had to take these steps to get to there, and a limited amount of CCIE applicants because not many people were like, well, I studied networking for 5 years already, I don't need to take the CCNA, I get it, I'm at the CCNP level, so I'm gonna take that test. Now that's understandable. However, if you don't have the whole purpose of the CCIE is to understand things like that. Like I can do subnetting quickly in my head. I can do IPv6 convergence to decimals convergence really quickly. I mean, not really. I can't really do it in my head. I'm not there yet. But I think at the CCIE level, I should be at that point. But you should be able to subnet real quick, look at an ACL, be like, that does this. Look at a network topology and look at the flow. And some things that understanding what a layer 2 switch does at its core, and its different layers and planes and things of that nature, and just the way traffic flows and all that, things can start becoming real easy for you right away at that level. Now, you can have a 5-year experience. Again, their experience is different from education. So if you're taking a test at a very high level, you're going to be tested on the educational path, not so much on experience. Just because the lab that they're having you build, it's rare that it's even going to happen in the real world. Why? Because nothing's ever that fucked up. Like, no company is going to be running, but like, we need up in 5 hours and everything broke. Somebody came in here with a bat. What they're going to say is that let's get all new equipment here, install it. Here you go. Like, and then the equipment sold with like engineers and other resources that help you build this thing. You're not by yourself doing it, right? So it's never like that. Just because companies want to make money, I won't sell you something and tell you, oh, here you go, buy. That's what the scenario they're putting you on a CCIE test. That doesn't occur. In tests and this educational world, they put you in a situation where it's almost impossible you ever get, but just to test your knowledge. In the real world, they have other resources around you to help you succeed because there's brands being sold and promoted, all these things to make sure you succeed. So it's never going to be the same. So you can have 5 years of networking experience and then study for the CCIE your whole life and never get it because there's actual books that explain the very granular details of things that help there are building blocks to get you to CCIE. And if you don't believe me, look at the new CCNA, CCIE, and CCNP. The CCNP tracks, the core, and a bunch of specialties. You read all the specialties, take the core. You're able to get the CCIE. Technically, have the technical knowledge. I think you'll have to do more complicated labs to prepare you, but at least you'll have all the books available to you, like a library of all the topics all the subject matters that associate to the CCIE. Now, the difference, see how there's a bunch of now training material that it's an easier way to guide you to the CCIE accessible knowledge. Before, I think you had to like buy a TCP/IP book, and then you had to buy a you obviously have to take the CCNP, and the CCNP had 3 books, and then that pretty much prepared you for the CCIE. And then the INE was very popular. INE has a good training, which I was gonna sign up for to get to the CCIE level once I got the CCNP. But so those were the sort of resources that I was aiming towards and getting. Now they're covering so much, you have to read even more books. Before, I'm talking about maybe 5 books I was gonna read, and then the INE training course. Now it's I think 5 specialties in the N course, 6 books just on Cisco, and then video training course and probably other like labs, CCNP labs and CCIE labs, and just me building up virtual stuff to help you prepare for something like that. But it's possible. People like there's this real pretty famous, I guess not super famous, but in the networking world, she's pretty famous actually. I think Network Chuck had an interview with her, and she got her CCIE from like I think security guard to CCIE in a year or 2 years or something. Now, if that person could, you know why she did it? The reason why she did it is because she put a lot of effort into it, right? She woke up every day, did her tasks, this what needed to be done, and she had no choice. She was like, I don't like what I'm doing. I don't like my life, or I wanted to do something else. Maybe she likes her life, but she wanted to do something else, and she put in the effort to do it. So I think we put a lot of these certifications in a pedestal, and I'm not intimidated. I try not to be intimidated in any subject matter anymore. As long as I see somebody already did it, like you did it before, okay, great. Like that means it's possible. So how'd you do it? I did this, I did that. Okay, great. Let me mimic that, and then maybe some audibles here and there, and let me try it. Let me try it again. Let me try it again. The only thing stopping you is yourself, time, and money. So you can literally spend a year and not go out, not do anything. Literally play video games or do some relaxation method, and then read and study for like 6-7 hours. Like I know I talked about not being burnt out and things like that. But when you're in a situation where you want to get out of it, right? You have a year. Say you're unemployed right now because of COVID-19. All right, you got unemployed, and unemployment lasts so long, and you're trying to. And let's just say everything is. Let's build out the scenario. Everything opens up again, and there's not a lot of jobs out there because the market tanked. Now you have a year, or I think 6 months of unemployment. During that time, you look up, what I would do is look up whatever certification that'll give me the most benefit. I'm applying for jobs and they're asking for certain things. What I would do is get a certification that matches those exam topics that match this type of job qualification, even if it's multiple. So let's just say I'm looking for a network engineer role just because we're in that topic. So I'm looking for a network engineer role and they're hiring a lot of these senior guys. So how can I get into those interviews? Like I said, the hardest part is just to get in. Once you get in, you can just conversate. That's all about communication and interview practice. But to get into the door, what makes me look more appealing? So the quickest way is a certification. Obviously, there's degrees, but let's stick with certifications. So you have 6 months to study. Now, if someone tells you, well, this normally takes 1.5 years to take, but you're unemployed right now and you only got a certain amount of time, and you're trying to compete, and people are taking jobs and you're not being looked at. So are you going to be like, well, I'm gonna take it easy, read 1 or 2 hours a day? No, like read 6-7 hours, read all day, lab it up at night. Like you're in grind mode at this point, and take the test, right? There's people who take out loans for cars they don't need, or clothes, right? That clearly they don't need. And you can go to whatever, like thrift stores and stuff like that, get some clothes for $5 when people are spending $50-$60 on clothes. You could take tests that cost $100 and it costs you under $50 to take. To study for. and pass, right? The CCIE, you can CCNP, CCNA, whatever. You can really put your head down and study and grind for that. In the end, you're probably gonna be burnt out. In the end, you'll be like, oh man, I was tired, man, but I got it done. I was crazy. And you're just the only thing that's limiting you and putting something that's like too difficult. I don't have time. I can't do it. In your head is yourself, right? And when I'm reading through the CCNP book right now, the Encore, um, sometimes I'm overwhelmed. I'm like, dude, right now I'm chapter 12, advanced BGP, and right now I'm in prefix matching. I'm intimidated by this book is 80 something right now. The chapters, yeah, chapter 29. I'm looking at page 859. I'm pretty sure there's about 900 pages in this book. I'm on 293. Like, there's a lot more reading, a lot more stuff I have to highlight, a lot more notes I have to take, a lot of hours I'm gonna have to spend on this book. And it may not even be enough. Just reading this book, I have a feeling is not enough. So it's intimidating. It's hard sometimes. It's like, I don't know if I can do this. Or some days I'm just super tired, and you look at a subject matter and you're studying something and you're like, man, I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. Sometimes it's time for you to push through that, and other times is, you know what, I'm gonna take a break, come back to it in a couple hours. But giving up is not an option, right? Never make that an option for yourself, where it's just like, all right, well, now what? Like, I don't think I can do it. I had a conversation on my Instagram, actually. Some dude was making comments, and he was saying, yeah, like, he DM'd me. I was like, yeah, I didn't think I was gonna, like, I knew I was gonna fail. And he took it and he passed it. I'm like, you passed it, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, there you go. Like, you know what I mean? Now he's studying for a CCNP, and like but you still have this negative you may still have a negative mental mind state. It's like, just have a super positive, like, if I fail, so what? I have a cool story to talk about, and then learn from my mistakes and move forward, right? Everyone's trying to be perfect. We have this like thing where it's like, be the best at something, which is impossible. There's gonna be somebody out there with like numerous of years experience, and then what I've started to realize, the higher I go up in the ranks of whatever of my experience and certain jobs and stuff like that, I'm starting to realize that the higher up you go, more responsibility you have, but actually the less actual technical skills you actually use. For me, a lot of my technical skills are now being passed down to my technicians. I'm teaching them stuff. You know, look, do this and do that. Approach it this way next time. All right, let's evaluate what you did there. Like, I didn't enjoy the outcome. What did you feel? No, I didn't enjoy it either. Okay, so let's approach it this way this time. Next time, sorry, and figure it out from there. Or look, they have this idea. I'm like, no, like, in my head, I've done that before. It's not gonna work. All right, do it this way. Try it out. Or I let them, see, and then when it fails, I'm like, see, look, this is the reason why. And I just explain them, educate them, so that way they can be better at a much faster pace. Now, I still do things at a much higher level that I'm like, all right, well, I'm still learning it, so I shouldn't pass it down to anyone else yet until I figure that out, so I don't put them in a position to fail. But I don't use the same grind day to day as I did when I first got into the field. So that you have to understand too is that you have to approach certain things differently. So if you want to do the CCIE at that level, you can be studying a lot of things and you may not even apply them towards it if you want to be in management. But if you want to be more heavy engineering side of things, approach it that way. Okay, go towards the CCIE. Maybe there's the design ones too, where you want to be an architect. Those are more of like management, project management, things of that nature. There's tests out there even at a CCIE. People don't even heard of that, and like, what's that? The bar exam, right? Lawyers, like, that's a super hard exam, and people with super high level colleges take it and don't pass, right? Don't put things in a pedestal. That's all I'm saying, is that it only hinders yourself. Like, these people can do it. Like, I can't do it. But yeah, you can. You can. You'll be surprised what you can accomplish just with consistency, right? And then everyone starts something, but they don't ever execute it. in the end, like going all the way towards completion. I mean, I've discussed this before, but just today I was just like, you know what? I wanted to talk about the CCIE and about why I don't fear it at all. I'm like, I encourage them. I can't wait to have enough study time and under my belt for me to be ready for that exam. I watch these individuals like Tony E, CCIE on Twitter, and I watch him on Twitter and make posts and stuff. I might do and I watch I think Cisco Panther on Twitter as well, and he's posting EvenG labs. And I'm like, dude, I want to get in there and lab it, and it gets me motivated, right? Watching these individuals study, practice their craft, things of that nature. And I mean, I remember starting a lab, the understanding of VLANs, that diagram, I remember that used to be my first packet tracer topology, right? When you first get into networking a CCNA, like this right here, a router using DHCP, a switch, and a PC. This is the simplest thing, simplest diagram you can get, right? And this was my first approach towards it. If people listen to Audible, if you go to my IT blog, go under the itblog.info, the website, and you do understanding native VLANs. There's a blog post there. That's the diagram I'm talking about. But now I'm troubleshooting multiple networks and multiple routers using OSPF and ERGRP, route distribution with ACLs, and then we have spanning tree and all these things. And then before it started there, everyone starts somewhere. Everyone talks about that, but it's when I first started networking, I wanted to quit. I wanted to get out of my education program. Right, at the Bri, I was like, I want to switch. I gotta go back. I gotta do program. I gotta do something else because I don't know if I can do this. This is really, really, really hard. I didn't expect it to be this difficult. I remember going into those boot camps at the Bri, and it was pretty much like a boot camp. It's 2 days out of the week. 1 day is lecture, a day is lab, and it was just my brain will hurt. And this was actually obviously after work, and it's just how can I absorb all this? I don't know if I can do it. Things like that. And so I would but I persevered right through all that, passed, did whatever I needed to do to pass, and I passed it, kept going, and finally was able to get, and years later, right, I got my degree, but years later I got my CCNA finally, when I started looking at it as, you know what, I'm just gonna go with my gut and trust what I've learned and apply it during the test, and that's it. Not second guess myself, not overcomplicate it, just do it. All right, this, okay, boom, yeah, that's good. Next, and then passed it, right? So I would just encourage everyone, just don't put things in a pedestal. Don't make it sound like it's more than what it actually is. It's just consistency. The material's all out there in the world. There's study guides, there's support groups. If you guys follow my YouTube channel, I'll be talking about my path to the CCNP. Obviously, there's my blog, right? What I would like to do is build out a community. Maybe a Discord or something. People just trying to join and talk about the just overall topics, because I'm also doing the AWS of the practitioner. So I'm reviewing that book once I'm done with that. So I'm in chapter 3 right now. So yeah, it pretty much wraps it up for today. I just want to talk about, don't put things in a pedestal. Don't believe something's beyond your reach because you put yourself at a certain level mentally or whatever. And even this applies to people who are trying to, get a degree, or be oh, I'm not college material, or get yourself into physical and mental strength, built up that, get healthier, eat right, things like that. You can do it. It's just deciding to do it. That's all. So really appreciate you guys. Follow, subscribe. This will be available pretty instantly on my website within the hour. And then I've been behind on my YouTube posts, like exporting all this into YouTube. So just give me some time, and then I'll figure out a better schedule to push these guys out onto YouTube. So really appreciate it. Peace.